Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. I promised I would do a review, or kind of a rundown a little bit of the new addition to the guitar family, which is the Let me see if I can get a good one on there. Oh yeah, it's got such dark writing. The EVH Wolfgang Standard. And it's awesome because I finally found the name of the color. This is not a common color. This is called Solar Burst, and I was calling it Amber Burst and all that because it's kind of it's a very vintage style, like late 70s kind of color and all that. I call this like a vintage color and whatnot. So yeah, Solar Burst. And when I found it, I was like, oh my god, yeah, but I couldn't find it on the standards. I could only find it on the specials. So they had a lot of quilted maple tops for the standard, but it was like, okay, I don't want to say a lot. There was some quilted maple tops, but it was more common to have the tobacco bursts. And if you guys are used to tobacco bursts and paint jobs and stuff like that, you would usually see it, on the Gibson Les Pauls and stuff. So it'd be like black, and this would have been like a little bit darker. I love that burst, and that would have been cool to have it in this. But, just to have, before the end of the year, to have one of the most die-hard guitars I've ever wanted to own. I mean, it even made me think, like, hey, maybe I should do like a Dimebag Darrell, Randy Rhoads, because I already have the Petrucci, now the Eddie Van Halen, which, the Holy Grail guitar. And then the other one I thought would be really cool, too, would be having the K7, which, the Korn's signature guitar. But then thinking about it, I was like, man, that guitar came out, I believe it was 2002 or 2003, and that alone is hard to find because they have the U-bar on the tremolo and then the regular trem on it too. And most people lost the U-bar, which I don't understand how you can lose the U-bar. It's constantly connected to the trem. But anyway, digressing. Take off the tuner and all that. The guy I met, Mr. Dave, his nickname is Stitch. Mine's Twitch, so it's Stitchy and Twitchy. He absolutely loved the Vapor guitar, so the reason he was wanting to trade is because he didn't like palming on the tremolo, which that's a pretty common thing. You got to be like a light picker and everything for trems. It's a specialty with tremolos. Like my first guitar, real name brand guitar, I got 6 months after I started playing in 2000. So I got it for basically my 16th birthday. I got a Jackson KE3 Pro Kelly body. I think it was made in like 95 or 96. That thing was sweet. Got it from Brinley's. I remember walking home with this heavy-ass guitar case and guitar. I was just so proud of myself. I was like, yeah, I got it. Here we go. Had to wait a few months to get it because you know how parents are when you're younger. You have to wait for your gifts and whatnot. But I was so happy. That's all I cared about. All I wanted was that fiddle. That one right there. But, yeah, when Dave came over yesterday, we were talking. And because I didn't use the pedal board anymore because I have, the Pod Pro. Yeah, the Pod Pro. I was like, is it the XT? Because I forgot I had the first edition. And he started playing it and fell in love with everything. And I was like, yep, I got it. And then when I picked this thing up and I was messing around with it because he said he just took it to a luthier and got it all set up. I looked at it, I was like, nah, this ain't set up properly. So today I got to it. Look at that. Here, actually, I'll turn it around because it's better to look at the bass side. Yeah, so there we go. 1.5 or 1.5 millimeters off the bass, or it would be off the 12th fret. And then right over here on the treble side, we got a quarter or 0.25 millimeters. So this is exactly set up how I like it. And the great thing about this guitar, that's all I had to do to it. That's it. Just set the trem how I liked it, which I just had to lower it just a little bit. He actually had the trem bar for it, which is a rarity for these for any guitar that has a trem system and anything, most people don't have the trem bars, so everything's original parts and whatnot. Then, you know, the normal cleaning it and all that. Then no fret buzz. First guitar I've received all year. Well, no, the Jackson and the Petrucci are the only guitars, and this, that I received, that I didn't have to do any fretwork, any headache worth of, you know, what is it, kind of tech work and stuff. So I was very happy about that. And this is a cool feature. I always wanted to try and see what if it was worth all the hype. But the EVH D-Tuna, basically, if you wanted to, because you know, when you have a trem system, it's you pick one tuning and you're one and done. This, you can, let's say you want to play a drop D, you want to basically get this down, tune this down, or lower your tuning. Let's say I'm going to drop D and all that, and then you just flip, then you just flip this over, and then now you're in drop C, or now you flip, sorry, you're in drop D, then you flip this over, you're back in standard. So Eddie came up with this in 2000. So I even remember when it came out, I had the Guitar World magazine, I had the Jimi Hendrix Experience and the band Orgy and the thing and all that, and I remember seeing that and asking Bruce at Brindley's. He goes, "It's $50. I don't see why someone would spend $50 just to tune their guitar." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But now it comes on your tremolo, so you have all these extra options, and you don't have to worry about unclamping and all that, and you don't have to have those, you know, crappy, what is it, locking tuners, because you know when they put locking tuners on a guitar with a locking system, one, it makes no sense, it's kind of redundant because you have a locking system, and then they put the worst kind on there, and then you have this extra weight plus the weight of a trem system. It doesn't make any sense. Locking tuners are cool. I mean, I get it if you're using the like Sterling style stuff and all that, like the, what is it, the two-post system, like that's cool. I like that because that actually works. But if you don't string it properly up here, like only do like one revolution on the strings, man, you're fighting that tuning constantly. But, you know, with going back to this, I was just like trying to compare trems and stuff like that. The tremolo actually on here is a branded and actually a Floyd Rose special. And this thing stays in tune very well. I don't know why people complain about this. I've watched some reviews on just all kinds of Floyd Roses and just everything in general. All I can really say is if you don't know how to work on a Floyd Rose, or you've never gotten behind and wrenched on these things, don't buy one. Seriously, just don't buy one, because these are the people that are making the worst reviews. And some of the best guitars have tremolos. It's like, I can tell you that it takes time to get used to these. Yes, you have to get behind here and play with the claw and some springs. If you sat here for a month and really played with the spring system and got it, you would change your mind on double locking systems. Like I did. I hated them at first, but then when I started getting used to them, that's all I play now is trems. I don't like guitars without trem systems. Even if it's just the 6-screw single trems or the 2-post, it has to have a trem. Or it just feels wrong. Like the 8-string doesn't have a trem, that's fine. And my 7-string doesn't have a trem, that's fine. Everything else does. Or because I can at least get away with using a wah pedal on the ones that don't have a trem. It trust me, it makes a huge tone difference too. You lose a little bit of sustain and resonation, but if you get it just right with your low action, it'll resonate through the body. Now, going on to talking about resonation, it comes with a baked maple neck. And I was looking, I was like, wow, that's a really dirty neck. And I've heard of roasted, I never heard of maple. Or obviously I've heard of maple. God, that was talking really crazy. I've heard of baked, and here's to kind of show you No, wait, that's not baked. Here's kind of the difference. So roasted means they go like full bore on it, right? So here's the groat, and it's baked or roasted, and then here's what baked looks like. It's like they just kind of singed it a little bit, so you kind of get the idea. And they oiled it, is where this is just pretty rough. No, not rough, but like I've always I try to tell people, think of a number 2 pencil. That's what a roasted neck feels like. And back here, you can feel the oil from, well, not just them oiling the neck, but from playing it, you can feel like where your oils of your hands are getting into it. And when I was reading, what's cool is I was reading this, because I mean, when dude brought this over, I was like, that's really cool. I nerd out on this kind of stuff. It actually, because Eddie Van Halen actually owned part of the company. I think it was like 40, maybe 40% of it. He talks about how he never cleaned his strings. He never cleaned the guitar. Because he said, where is it? Right, it says right here, I never cleaned my guitar. I never cleaned the strings. Dirty strings tend to have a warmer tone. Brand new or clean strings have a brighter sound. Again, it depends on your preference. I especially never clean the neck. I prefer my natural skin oil to condition the neck as opposed to mineral oil. It will take longer for your natural skin oil to condition the neck versus using mineral oil. So, and then he said it takes about 8 to 10 months. So, and like, this was a 2017 guitar, and I'm I think the second or third owner of this guitar. Kind of rolled off frets. They are jumbo frets, but you can't tell. Like, I'm barely picking this guitar. Tapping's a breeze with this. It looks like someone took off the Fender stickers, because it used to have the stickers on there. And then here's how I'll basically read the serial number for you. 2017 of January 7th, number 85. So, and what they did too, a good story behind this, even what Dave was telling me, like when they were creating this, they would send him prototypes to the neck, and he would go, no, don't like it. And so they finally scanned his Frankie, and all the worn spots where he felt comfortable is where he wore it off from years of playing with his neck, and that's what they did with this. So, and it's the craziest comfortable guitar. I mean, like, if you look at where all the selection is, like, here's the the volume and all that. Like, if you're picking, like, look at the hand motion. Oh, I gotta turn it up a little bit or down, and then up. So he designed this for complete comfortability. I just gotta get used to having a pickup switch up here, because I'm used to having everything down here. But, and then learning too that because I'm a huge Eddie Van Halen fan, or Van Halen in general. He's like up there with the top guitar, Mount Rushmore guitar players for me. But this video I was watching, I didn't even know this, like, he reversed how the pickup selector worked, because when he was doing all the switching, he made the neck selector for the bridge and the bridge for the neck. I was like, well, okay, that's cool. And I'm trying to think of a couple more things on this. The neck pickup, for some reason, is louder or has a higher resistance than the neck, or I'm sorry, than the bridge. But you hear it, but it's not what you think. You can hear the difference in the tone and all that, but when you switch over, you hear why it's like that, and it's very smooth, and the notes articulate very well. And last but not least, the pots, frictionless. There's speed knobs, but the tone's frictionless. So, it's good to have that with tone pots. So you can turn this down, and it'll sound like, you're having like your JC M800 Plex, or was it Plexi or whatever, or a JC M800, and like, Ain't Talk About Love, where it sounds like the clean sound. He's just rolling off the the volume pot, because there's treble bleed in these, and they're really expensive, I believe KTS pots, so you're looking at about $60 in electronics just in here. And you know, tone knobs, I have tone knobs with every guitar I have, just because it's good to have tone knobs. It doesn't matter if you're a metal player or not, you don't want to muffle your sound out. That right there helps you, like that, it can help control the brashness coming from your amp, and like, so you don't want to go from extreme and then go to your clean, go, wow, that's a little too much. So I always recommend to students or anybody, roll your, I go 1, 2, 3. That's how I count it. 1, 2, 3, and it'll usually leave you at about between 7 and 10, and that's perfect because you don't. It controls a lot of the brashiness of your treble, your trebly brashness. And if you want, lower the volume like 1, 2, 3. I count it a little bit faster because then you want your volume at about 8 or 9. And that right there, when you look at it like that, this guitar is a high gain monster. And when I was going through, you know, this massive beast of an amp, I had to turn it down a little bit because it was just getting way, way too loud. And I liked it, but my neighbors didn't like it, especially at 8:30 in the morning. But I was like, screw them. They make so much noise anyway. But I wanted to show you guys the specs, because I'm never going to replace the pickups. These are EVH style Wolfgang pickups, and they're modeled the way Eddie liked them, or shreddy, as I like to call them. I might put a sticker on here. I know that's like blasphemy on an Eddie Van Halen guitar, but it's a sticker of a skeleton that looks like Eddie Van Halen shredding on his guitar, and it's glow in the dark, so I thought that'd be kind of fitting. And I'm going to get a SKB or Gator case just for this guitar, because it needs to have its own case. And one last thing, the people giving this a bad name, saying that the Basswood is a bad mixture in the maple neck. What do you think Eddie was playing? This is Basswood. This is a great guitar. The majority of guitar players are playing Basswood and maple. So, yeah, I would tell people, if you're going to do this, learn how to use a trem first and learn how to work on them before you start going up and throwing bad reviews on these things. And would I recommend this to players? Yes, I recommend this to intermediate and advanced players who know what they're doing, especially Eddie Van Halen fans, because this thing is a beast tone machine. It has the quilted maple top with got the nice binding, showing it kind of gives it even has, because it's vintage style too. So with the red bass, I mean, this thing's beautiful. I mean, 4-digit style guitar. I mean, it better be nice and play great. You know, you got one piece of maple. I mean, look at the grain in that. That's beautiful. The volute, yeah. Cosmo black hardware. I'd say this thing comes in about like 10 pounds. And oh yeah, the one thing I almost forgot was dual titanium or dual graphite truss rod. Graphite backing. That's what it is. Graphite truss rod. Yeah, so this neck ain't going anywhere. This thing doesn't move. And you know, you got the truss rod right there. So I have, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of my guitars now have the truss rod axis right there. And I think that's pretty cool, because that makes life so much easier for a tech. Alright guys, the next video, I'm sorry if this some of it was a little bit of babbly or not, but you know, I'm trying to make a little bit longer live show videos and stuff like that. I know this wasn't really a live show, this was more of a go over gear stuff, and sometimes when I go live, I get slammed with a bunch of questions, and that's cool. I'm going to pull up my computer next time so I can answer a little bit better. Mark your calendars, I believe it is. Let me go check real quick for the date. I will be doing, January 5th. January 5th, I will be doing a live show / interview with a personal friend of mine in the music industry who is also, I've known him for, it'll be 25 years this coming year, was my guitar mentor / teacher. Now he was in a lot of bands I grew up listening to in the local scene, ended up going national, worked for a bunch of different guitar companies, and now he works for a really cool guitar company. So I'll tell you guys more as the days get closer. So that'll be got about a week and a half to go. So when it gets closer, I'll keep you guys informed, and it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't talked to my buddy in a while, so it'll be cool catching up. And it's just going to be one of those kind of interview things, like, hey buddy, just kind of catching up. How have you been? That's going to be one of those things. Still ask him about music and stuff. It's going to be a total geek out. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to ask questions on the guitar. I am going to be changing the strings. I'm going to be putting EVH branded strings on it, so 9 to 46. But, all right, everyone, take care, and I'll be doing a sound tone test here maybe tonight. I might do it tonight, just to kick out the old ear and bang in the new one. All right, everyone, take care.